So, as some of you may know, my mom passed away a couple of weeks ago. She has been very sick for a while. So, she's been struggling, and her quality of life has it's been hard I've been her caretaker this entire year. And so it's just been hard, watching her decline, and it was so quickly but not quickly. It was a really weird experience. But I am doing all right. I am so thankful for my connection to my spirituality because I can feel her spirit. I know she's fine. I know she's with me. I know she's with our loved ones. I've lost a lot of family in my life that I've been very close to, and I've developed a very strong connection to them in the spiritual realm. And so I'm very thankful for that. And so I feel my mom's connection. I'm just extremely thankful for my journey and my own healing because I 100% believe it's the reason that I'm okay. And not that I have moments of grief. Of course, we're all human. We're going to experience that no matter how healed we are or no matter what we go through. But it's different when you have certain awareness and certain understanding, and you've done some work on, like, what I want to talk to you guys about today, which is attachments and expectations. And this is really inspired by my relationship with my mom. So, most of my life, I didn't have a very good relationship with my mom. And some of you guys may know that. I've talked about it before. And it wasn't up until I started my own healing journey and I started learning about different things like expectations, attachments, gratitude, new perspectives, awareness, all that stuff. And so it really transformed my relationship with my mom. So, about almost 4 years ago, I started doing some gratitude and forgiveness work with my mom. So what that looks like is, and I think there's a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to gratitude or forgiveness, and it's so much deeper than what I think we have labeled it as or whatever. So forgiveness in this term is, for me, what it means and how I teach it with my clients is helping people kind of accept things for what they are, right? Because when we have attachments or expectations, it's because we want them to be a certain way, or we've got a pre-positioned idea of how things were supposed to go. And when they don't go that way, then our nervous system gets sent on a roller coaster. We're not okay. We feel rough. We feel extremely attached to that situation, and it's emotionally controlling us. And this is extremely important when we're manifesting or when we want to reach our goals, because we are always manifesting based on how we're feeling. So if we are caught up in things that are dragging us down or making us feel in a lower way, or in a place where we're going to complain about something a lot, or where we're just not happy with something, what I find is when I'm in a habit of complaining, all I notice, right, if I'm in the mindset of complaining, I have more to complain about. And the same is true when I'm in a mindset of gratitude. I see so many blessings around me. So our brain is really good at changing the lenses of what we're seeing and how we're perceiving our world. So, what I wanted to talk to you guys about today, like I said, it was inspired by the healing journey that I went on with my mom. So, the thing is, my mom has struggled with, and she'd kill me if I said this, but it's the truth. And from my perspective, right, she struggled with alcohol and smoking and just different things. And she also struggled with being emotionally vulnerable. And I love, and one, this healing journey, before the healing journey, I resented her for it. I was mad at her for it. I was like, she's not good enough. She's not a good mom. She's a terrible person. All this stuff. Like, I was so mean to her, and I had a very negative perspective of her. But when I did this work of forgiveness and gratitude, and I really started to try to understand my mom for who she is and where she is, and just genuinely accept her for where she was in life, I started to see, like, how much compassion and how much love I had for the fact that she was there. Like, when I started asking myself, why might she be struggling with these things that are driving me crazy, right? I'm only judging her. I'm only attached to what I believe she should be doing. And I'm so mad and complaining about her not showing up the way I want her to show up. So when I started to really genuinely take a step back and ask myself, why might she be showing up in this way instead? Then what was able to happen is I was able to see things from her perspective. I was like, well, this was her childhood. This is her experiences. And she didn't have this opportunity. She doesn't have this understanding. And this is her way of protecting herself. This is her way. This is the only way she knows how to do X, Y, and Z. And so what this was able to do for me was I was able to let go of this expectation or this attachment to her being a different person. And what that did for me is I was able to let go of this one day she'll be different. And I was able to just embrace her for who she was today. And so over these last 4 years, I have just genuinely accepted my mom. And what the craziest thing that happened, the most unexpected thing that happened, because I always felt like she never accepted me. I always felt like she judged me and she was hard on me. She wasn't never proud of me. I always felt that way. And that's how I kind of treated her. I wasn't proud of her. I was disappointed in her. I was judging her. That was our dynamic for a long time. But the very day that I was done with that and I was going to just accept her for who she was and everything that meant, I really didn't sugarcoat it. I was like, this is the facts. This is where she's at. This is her experience and this is how she is living. How can I accept this? How can I be okay with this? Right. And everybody's situation is going to be unique and different. So if you have a strained relationship with a parent, it can look different. But I've had several clients who had poor relationships with their fathers or their moms or their sisters. And after they did that process of that healing, of that gratitude and that forgiveness, what they were able to do was, even if their relationship didn't become more connected, they were less triggered by that person. And at the very minimum, that is a win. You know what I'm saying? To let go of this idea or this expectation or attachment to what we want it to be can allow our nervous system and our chakras to become back into balance. And that is extremely important. If we are holding on to a relationship that is not healed or it's not going the way that we want it to, or the way that the fairy tales tell us it's supposed to look like, or what we've seen on TV or whatever, and we've got this predispositioned idea of how it's supposed to look, and when it's not looking that way and we are losing our mind, guess what? Now we are probably attracting partners who are not healthy for us because we're trying to fill a hole. Depending on the relationship that our parents had or whatever had with money or their health or how they took care of themselves, all of that can be passed down to us because we're holding on to this and we start to punish ourselves. And so any pattern, any unhealed pattern that our parents or those relationships that we're extremely attached to might be holding can be passed down to us if we have these expectations and these attachments. And this can really hinder the manifesting process for what we're trying to create in this reality. So I hope this is making sense so far. I hope this is helpful. And the most important thing is like I said, it's accepting things for what they are, right? So, how this might look with money, for example, is I have a lot of clients that come to me with money wounds, right? They need a new relationship with money so that they can allow money to come in. It's not that they're not making money, right? They have money, but it's like they want the overflow, or it's like it's constantly having to go out, right? So they need a new relationship to money so that they can have a healthy dynamic and hold on to it and serve that money. And so the quickest way to do that is we start to see how they react to prices of things, right? So this is just an example. This works whether it's with a relationship to a person, a relationship to money, or a relationship to your health, or a relationship to your career. It doesn't matter what it is. If there is something off, or if there's something that's not going the way you want it to, right? If your attachments and your expectation to relationships, health, money, or career are imbalanced, or they're driving you crazy, or they're constantly triggering you, it's likely can be shifted through this forgiveness or gratitude, right? So the forgiveness is a little different when it comes to objects or whatever, but it's the same thing. So, like, if you need to forgive money, or if you need to forgive your programming around money, right? Like maybe your dad was hard on you about money, or whatever the experience was that hurt the relationship to money, you might need to do the forgiveness there. So, and what I do for forgiveness is I forgive the person, right? So let's say it was for my mom. So I would say, I forgive you, mom, for what you did here, this experience, because of this, because I understand where you're coming from, or I know why this happened, or when I put myself in your shoes, I can understand you, right? And then I go and I reflect, how was my relationship with that person or thing, right? So this is how I felt they were treating me, and I forgive them for that. Now, how was I treating them? Was there ever any moments where I judged them or criticized them or did something, you know, out of what? Protection, or out of response to something that they did, right? So now I would say, will you please forgive me for behaving this way? I was doing it because of this. And so, what this exercise does is it helps us to neutralize everything. And what we start to do is we put ourselves in the other person's shoes, or the other thing's shoes, right? And then we put our own humanity and humility up front. So now we both, now what happens is we can see we're all human. We all make mistakes. We all do things that are going to hurt each other out of protection for ourselves, or out of what we think is best for ourselves, because in the flesh we are selfish beings, and that's just a natural human thing. And so the more, that's why awareness, and that's why taking time to be very mindful. And so that's another tip. So we've got three tips here. Three tips. We've got mindfulness, we've got gratitude, and we've got forgiveness, right? So forgiveness is that process of neutralizing the situation, right? I forgive you because of this mistake, because I understand this. Forgive me for this mistake because this is where I was. This is my humanity. This is why I showed up this way. This is creating a lot of awareness, self awareness. And the more we create self awareness in these dynamics, in our relationships to things, and we start to clear that out, what happens is the more mindful we can become. So, mindfulness, I like to break that down into two things. And so, this is intention and attention. So, anytime we're having a conversation, anytime we're about to eat food, anytime we are about to spend money, whatever the thing is, right? The best way to become mindful is to ask ourselves, what is the intention? What are my intentions with putting this food in my mouth? What are my intentions in going and to have this conversation with this person? What are my intentions in going to spend money today, or whatever it is, right? And then when we are doing the thing, right? When we're having the conversation, when we're spending the money, when we're eating our food, we switch into attention. How does this make us feel? What are we experiencing? Taking these times to pause is going to help us create an experience of being completely present in the present moment. And the more present we are, and then we shift into gratitude. Okay. So, forgiveness. So, we're neutralizing, we're building new perspectives and new awareness. We're mindful. We're going in with intention and paying attention to what we're doing when we're doing it. Right. And now we're being grateful. Okay. So, now we switch into gratitude, which is going to help us attract those miracles. Okay. So gratitude is, it's probably not what you think. A lot of people, I think, I know, and the only reason I say this is because before I learned what gratitude really meant, I just thought like, oh, be grateful for what you have. Yes, but it's deeper than that. When we are complaining about something, so take my example with my mom. I was never able to experience what I did have with my mom. I was never able to be present with my mom or experience what was there, the miracles or the blessings that was there with my mom, because I was so attached to what I didn't have. I was so attached, and I had so many expectations on what it should be or what I didn't have and what I wanted instead, that I could never be really present or grateful was there. Right. So because she didn't have emotional vulnerability, I was so attached to the fact that she wouldn't coddle me and cuddle me and hug me and be emotionally vulnerable with me. But what she did do is she taught me how to stand up for myself, to be extremely independent, to be an entrepreneur. She taught me really important stuff that I value a lot in my life. I would not be where I am at such a young age had my mom not made me so extremely independent. That is a form of love. That is a miracle and a blessing that I was not acknowledging in the slightest because I was so attached to what I thought I needed from her, what I thought I wanted from her. And when I started to shift to look at why I was mad at my mom or why I was complaining about my mom, and I started to transform that into, well, why do I love my mom? Why can I appreciate my mom? What Instead of asking what doesn't she do for me, I started asking what is she doing for me? And I fell in love with the mom that I had. And I got to experience the mom that I had and I got to appreciate her. I got to call her and have wonderful dreams about her and go tell her like, "Hey, I had this dream. I love you. You're great." Over these last 4 years, it has been a wonderful relationship with her and it's been beautiful. And I think had I not healed those expectations and those attachments before she passed away, I would not be okay right now. And I hope that makes sense. It's extremely important to let go of these expectations or these attachments because they are the root of all suffering. They are the root of the block in our manifesting. If we want something, right? Just put it into this perspective. I wanted a good relationship with my mom where I could be happy and I felt love between us two. I could have always had it. I could have always had it, but because I simply was attached to controlling the situation, making it look the way I wanted it to look, I was blocking that manifestation from coming to reality. I was blocking myself from receiving that miracle of having a beautiful relationship with my mom until I let go of that attachment and that expectation. I am beyond grateful that and I give a lot of credit to my dad. I lost my dad 5 years ago. So after I lost my dad and I dealt with the grief and I did some healing for that, I started to realize like I need to heal this relationship with my mom. It is extremely vital and extremely important. So I hope this has been helpful so far. I'm going to wrap it up today, guys. So the things that we're talking about today is releasing attachment, releasing expectations so that we can unlock being genuinely present, living our life presently, and inviting miracles. Because the most beautiful thing that I've learned in my manifesting journey is we might already have what we're telling ourselves that we don't have simply because we are so attached to how we think it's supposed to look based on society or movies or books or whatever preconceived ideas that we've nurtured over the years that's telling us that our life is wrong, right? So when we take these three tools of forgiveness, mindfulness, and gratitude, right? I hope this is helpful. I hope you guys are enjoying this. This has been completely life changing, and it is the reason I am able to manifest anything at any point in time. And I want the same for you guys. And manifesting looks different for whatever is going on. But these things being present and allowing the chance to create what you want simply by embracing how you might already have it. Even if it's not the way you think you're supposed to have it. This is important. Might not be the way you think you're supposed to have it. But if you take a moment to step back and you see what you do have and you start to really dissect and really ask those new questions of what do I have versus what I don't have, I guarantee it'll change. It'll change so much. I know it changed so much for me. It's changing so many amazing things for my clients, and I want the same for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and please let me know in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if this was good. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if it's resonating.